Hello, this is Marquis, and this is the second of my game analysis of interesting games in the ranked of the Soul game. In this game, I'm again playing with my favorite build of dinos with 2 fire lizards that are very strong, and my opponent, SaSSy Robot, a very good player, is playing Skaven. As far as the builds are concerned, you've seen mine already if you've seen my previous video, but I have a big anchor that is a big anvil that is the Triceratops. The bruiser can also be big damage dealer and also handle pack of enemy infantry. I have my warlord on Tyrannosaur that is a very good damage dealer. It is a little bit on the fragile side, I could say, with 5 defense and 6 wounds. So it cannot be exposed to Jezzails, for example. I mean, long rifles from the Ratkin clan that can exist and are usually spammed in the ranked ladder. So I deployed the Lord behind my Crocolisk's. It turned out that my opponent did not have long rifle, but obviously I did not know that, and some riders that are very good here to be able to apply pressure to the range unit that the rats usually bring. In that case, they did not bring a special weapon at all. They brought a build based on the Warlock, Hex of Ruin, and 2 units of Slingers. So these 2 units together with the Hex of Ruin can bring a lot of damage to a target unit. Basically, they can delete 1 unit per turn, even the big dino unit. Skulkers also have their throwing stars, right? And to round the build, they have a unit of legendaries that are going to be very good against dinos, and conscript that look weak, of course. They are weaker than other units, but they have spears, so they can fight on 3 ranks. So when you take 15 dice and on a unit that has been targeted by the Hex of Ruin, you can also totally delete that. And just to a last point is that it was not a game of objective, right? It was the pitched battle. So the fire lizards are very good, but they cannot target the skulkers because they are in cover. And remember, you have -1 per dice, so that means that they would shoot 2d3 -2, so it would be really wasted on the skulkers. So instead, what I'm doing is I'm going to burn some of the slingers to reduce the fire pressure, and let's say bait a charge here that I could counter charge on the side with my riders. Obviously, as you will see, my opponent is a very good player and he does not fall immediately for the bait. But let's stop here. My fire lizard is surviving the pebbles. I'm moving my front line in the middle. My bruisers are probably the best thing to take on the conscripts. And my fire lizard here is not surviving the 2 units of slingers. So here I'm moving on the side because I want to keep my fire lizard to shoot at the legendaries. Okay, if they come too close, I can roast them. But obviously that gives me less opportunity to have a trap with my riders, so the skulkers will be able to face my riders, killing 1 of them. You can see that he turns slightly so that he can not be charged on the flank, but I can have an opportunity to shoot at them outside of the forest. So I burn a number of them. Charges. I was happy to have the charge of the Triceratops on the slingers because That would mean I have one less range pressure to deal with. Also, they don't have spears. So even with X of Ruin on the Triceratops will probably win that fight. Here the fight is probably in his favor, because the riders are probably the ideal target for the Skulkers, but the riders can do some damage to the Skulker first. And here in the middle, it will depend if he hexes my bruisers, which I think he should, because in that case, my bruisers will have a bad time. Yes, he does. Hex me, and my guard is quite lucky to survive the battle. Oh, what was that animation? He moves, so I failed to do a lot of damage to the legionaries. He positioned the legionaries so that he can side charge the bruisers, and the best I can do against that is move my my lord against it. During that fight here, I failed to rout them, even if I win the fight, but it's okay. Here he kills me, of course, even if I do some damage back. And here it was a draw, 3-3. The good thing here with that positioning and that charge is that I can get a rear charge on the Skulkers, but he positioned himself to get the rear charge for the next turn. That's not too bad. Fire Lizard is only 45 points, and if that means getting his Lord unit occupied and maybe breaking the Skulkers, that would be a very, very good trade for my Fire Lizard. So here is really bad. I fail my moral check with my Triceratops, because my opponent did the... what did he do? Yeah, I failed 2 save here. And I did no wound to him in exchange. So he wins the combat, and I failed the moral test, so string of bad luck. But like I was saying before, it's always a game of dice, so you have to plan for the worst, okay? You cannot blame the dice for losing. And, you know, the dice, they can go on the other side real quick. So here, he failed a lot of attack, and he rots, which means that I will be able to side charge here. I break the Skulkers as expected, and here is an important fight. And here I'm quite lucky with my saves. Okay, so I was very unlucky here, but I think I was very lucky on that fight here. So now, what's the situation when we arrive on turn 3? He will obviously rear charge me here, preventing me from attacking the Skulkers. I can still hope that the Skulkers, with their discipline of 6, rout, okay? I can side charge here, I can rally, and I can hope that these 2 units keep fleeing, okay? Then what happens? You will see, that's terrible. So he hexes me there. He succeeds all 3 of his discipline check. So here I can say that things are getting complicated. The lucky part was that did not kill my Fire Lizard, but he still routed, which allowed him to rear charge. You could see that I positioned my lord to rear charge his lord at the previous turn, and he positioned himself to rear charge me afterwards. So really, at that point, the fact that he succeeded 3 discipline tests here and that I failed with my Triceratops in the previous turn makes me in a very difficult position, but things are not lost at all at that stage. I could win this fight, I could resist the conscript, I can maybe win that fight and bring back the Triceratops, it's still not lost. So he calls what, Primal Fury on the slingers, I think. So the slingers kill my last Crocolisk, but I succeed the moral check with the Fire Lizard, which is big. And I managed to rout his lord. So obviously he will rear charge me. Now we enter the last couple of turns and he succeeds to rally his Warlock. So you could see the importance of the discipline during that game, because I failed with the Triceratops, he succeeded all this rally, but I succeeded my rally with the Fire Lizard. So a little bit of luck on both sides, but it was quite favorable for him. Here I succeed all my save with the Fire Lizard and I managed to break the Skulkers. This is obviously huge. And here even better, I managed to break his conscript to charge me in the back. So that's huge. You could see the reversal of luck in that game. Quite incredible. At that moment that my opponent conceded, because I will charge obviously his lord in the back, and he did not like that one bit. Could charge here the Skulkers, and I don't recall what was happening here, but it was a little bit too much for him when he saw that he could not break me while charging in the back. You have to remember, guys, that when you charge in the back a lord, the lord can strike in the back if he's not engaged in the front. Okay, so that's a big advantage, and I succeeded my save. So obviously it was a good piece of luck. Really, that's something to learn about Soul. Is it's a dice game. It can really go either way, and I think it was quite lucky for him to have all this rally. But on the other hand, I was quite lucky here and lucky with my Fire Lizard, so it compensates one another, I think. Anyways, thank you to my opponent for the game. It was an awesome game that really showed the importance of discipline and of anticipation of the rear charge, as you could see on the side. I anticipate to rear charge his Skulker. He rear charged with his lord. I prepared my Tyrannosaur to rear charge his lord, and then his conscripts rear charged my warlord. So really, it's a game of anticipation and placement. Thank you to my opponent. It was an awesome game.